Good morning, everyone. It's February 20th, 2019. So, how modern life destroys survival instinct. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch. But I'm going to try to hit as much of it as I can today. So, modern life destroys your survival instincts. Most people just buy the answers to all their problems, and they have lost their ability to think. Self-reliance is an act of epic rebellion against the status quo. Now, one thing about modern life is the cell phones. Just recently, I gave mine up. The sounds that cell phones make are extremely annoying to me. And so I decided, why not just eliminate a bill, because I hate them so much. But other people, they are totally oblivious as to what's going on around them when their faces are stuck in those cell phones or tablets. So it's easy to see how our survival instincts get dulled by modern life. People drive everywhere, more or less, in the United States. You do have people that use public transportation, but that too, in a way, is stealing instincts from you. But I'm going to go ahead and hit some of the points in the article, and then there's another one down some that we're going to hit at the same time because it's related to survival. Excuse me. I'm still feeling a little under the weather for some damn reason. So, this is by Daisy Luther from the Organic Prepper. I'm not going to hit all of her article, but just a couple of her points, I guess. She says that our world today would seem magical to our ancestors. I have to disagree with her. I think our ancestors would be rather disgusted by our world today, at least in part. Our needs are met almost immediately. We have clean water at the turn of a knob, heat at the push of a button, and light at the flip of a switch. Food is purchased in a box, ready to heat, and a person can prepare a meal in just under 6 minutes using the microwave oven. That's a fixture in most modern kitchens. Well, let me stop right there. That is something else I've given up. No microwave. Do not use one. I'll admit it is a little bit inconvenient to have to warm food up on the oven, or on the stove rather, or in the oven, but overall, the microwave is nothing but a space hog that attracts bugs. So, I got rid of it. Our world is clean, convenient, and loaded with abundant resources. Things that took a significant time and effort to produce in days gone by. The problem is everything is done for you these days. You don't have to butcher your own cow or meat. You don't have to go hunting. You don't have to have a garden. You don't have to do none of that stuff. Although, it's probably a good idea if you do. I don't have a yard anymore, so I've been trying to think of a way to grow plants, food plants, where I live, at least until I move. It'll probably be a couple months, but so there's ways to grow food without having a lot of room, and one of them is haystacks. You can cut a hole in hay bales, right, and do a vertical thing, and it works very well, from what I understand. So growing your own food and hunting is one good or two good ways to keep your instincts sharp. Another thing is paying attention in public. We've all seen them people who just about walk off the sidewalk into oncoming traffic because they're oblivious to what's going on around them. How many people have been killed because they weren't paying attention, or kidnapped? I don't know, but I can guess that quite a few of them, as a result of just not paying attention to what's going on around you. Situational awareness is at the top of the importance ladder. Being aware of your situation can save your life. Paying attention is very, very, very crucial, even before shit hits the fan. Remember, we're all waiting for some kind of spectacular event that changes everything, right? Well, if you're not paying attention that day, you may miss it. And you're going to be one of them people looking around like, what the fuck just happened? But if you're paying attention, and I mean looking at the news, listening to some of the news, that kind of thing, pay attention. It will save your life. Let's see what else does old Daisy have to say here. Alright, she says, quick solutions reduce problem-solving ability. That is true. How many times have I said to my wife that, oh, let's go to the store and get something easy to cook, because I don't want to, because it's easier, you know. Probably once a week. Once a week I'll go to the store and, you know, find something frozen to throw in the oven. But I work on other problems quite a bit, and so my problem-solving abilities aren't too bad. For that matter, neither are my instincts, or my instincts are still sharp. So in the midst of a challenge a few years back, I discovered I was out of oregano. Normally, I'd hop in the car and go to the grocery store. I'd buy some oregano, some other interesting things that caught my eye, and grab a coffee on the way home to fight that mid-afternoon crash. But since I'm participating in the once-a-month shopping challenge, running to the store was not an option, and wouldn't be for 3 more weeks, since the tomatoes I was processing wouldn't last that long. I had to think of solutions. Long story short here is, instead of running to the store for every time you have a need, maybe you come up with one without the store, without going out and purchasing something. But modern life certainly does dull your survival instincts. So here's problem solving 101. Repair and substitute. That's number one. Before purchasing a replacement for your broken widget, figure out how to fix the widget. Use a what's it instead of a widget. Figure out how things work and really use your brain instead of waiting for others to solve your problems. Start now by learning to live without running to the store or logging onto Amazon to buy a solution. Learn to repair and mend simple household items. Learn to change a tire. Learn to cook and figure out substitutes if you're missing some vital ingredient. Number two, live it. Don't just read about it. I think that speaks for itself. Number three, predict and prepare. Now, it's hard to know what's going to happen, right? But if you scan through all the various headlines, you can get a kind of a picture of what could happen. And that's how you make a prediction, and then, of course, you prepare. Accept, plan, and act. When disasters strike, there are 3 steps you must take at any point in a crisis. You have to accept that the worst has occurred instead of retreating into your cognitive dissonance. You must make a plan quickly. You must act immediately and decisively. And if your plan doesn't work, you must start over with accepting it and move on to plan B, C, D, or whatever. You should have multiple plans in place. But we're going to go ahead and move on to moving with purpose and shit hit the fan. Man, there's a lot of stuff to talk about today. This comes from Selko. He's the individual, I believe, was in Serbia or Bosnia during their war. So moving around with purpose when shit hits the fan. Damn, excuse me. Alright, so when shit hits the fan, you do not want to just go running around and I'll just go with the article here. I call this article Moving Around with Purpose When Shit Hits the Fan with Clear Intent. SHTF, especially early stages when may be good opportunity to acquire things, the looting, scavenging, or whatever you may call it. However, it is also a good opportunity to end up dead. Alright, so let's say you're a person who has a need for a specific medicine. And you understand that if you don't go out there and take it, it's not going to be available to you ever again. Right? So you need this medicine. What do? I know what I would do. What I would do is I would go to a pharmacy and I would sit and wait for a little while. I would watch everything. And then once I got an idea of who, who's in there, what do they have? Why are they there? Do they need the same thing as me? And, I would assess the situation. Do they have weapons? Oh, they don't have weapons. Oh, but okay, so I have a weapon, so I can go in there and handle business, right? Or maybe they have something other than a gun. Maybe they have machetes. You still have control of that. But you have to be careful when you move and shit hit the fan. You don't want to be seen. You want to be a ghost. You don't want anyone to notice you. So, his advice is usually also not a good moment to, so my advice is, or it is usually not a good moment to go out without real purpose. Just to check out what's going on, in other words, curiosity kills the cat. So don't go out for no damn reason. You don't need to see. You need to survive. It may be hard to resist to check what's going on. I know it from personal experience. But try to find out without sticking your head directly in. It may sound logical that if you hear screams and shots in the middle of SHTF, to run there to check what's going on. No, it's not logical to do that. That's the exact opposite of logic. I mean, if you're the hero type, which unfortunately I have to confess I am, then you're going to be one of the motherfuckers running into that shit. And I'm guilty of that. A couple years back to back, I jumped into some pretty swift currents to save people. So I already know that I would run right into that shit. But I also know that I'm a pretty good shot. I also know that I am capable of being extremely nasty. So if you're, if you're struggling or whatever, don't go running into that shit. Just don't. If there's something major going on, that would be the time to go out and get your meds. Say there's a big event that just happened. Everyone's mind is on that. And while their mind is on that, it's a good idea to get scavenging some of the stuff you need. And I know a lot of people would say that I'm promoting theft, but survival is survival. You got to do what you got to do. I'm not one of these judgmental pricks that will look down their noses at you because you killed someone to live. That's the deal with survival. If you have to kill someone, you got to remember something. You will have survivor's guilt. You will have PTSD. It will eat at you. And if you don't get control over it, it will destroy you. I know. So you want to think about the route you're going to take. As I said, you don't want to be seen. You want to be a ghost. You want to stay low, stay close to walls or other types of structures. And you definitely want to be armed. Now listen, a lot of people are going to say, what business do you have talking about guns because you're a felon? Well, I have a right to survive too. And I'm not going to let a law stand in my way of survival. Not going to happen. Remember, laws are written by people who consider you the enemy. Therefore, it's not logical to follow their laws. But having a route, knowing where you're going to go, knowing all the different stuff you can crouch behind, it's all important. Now, I recommend getting a drone if you can possibly afford it. You can get a fairly cheap drone, and you can fly right over something and see what's going on. and then you can make your plans based on what you saw. Okay, so interesting points along the way. Points of interests or danger spots are everywhere throughout the city. They are in every city in normal times. So, for example, these days in my city, there are several spots where I would not like to go through during the nighttime because certain kinds of people live and operate there. And you might want to think about that when shit hits the fan. What kind of people lived in this area I have to walk through? If you have to crawl through it, right? Don't be seen. All right. So when we are talking about SHTF, there's always going to be danger spots concerning you moving through the city. The catch is the fact that those spots may be changing based on a lot of facts. Here are only a few examples from real experience. Gas stations, police stations, pharmacies, and malls. And if you go into any of these places, you've got to go in there willing and able to kill. The pharmaceuticals, the weapons, the fuel, and of course the food. Those are the things people are going to be looking for the most. And when competition gets fierce, ugly things happens. And you got to be prepared to handle those ugly things. You got to be. You got to get it in your mind that you are a killing machine and that you will do anything it takes to win. Anyway, I thought I would share these with you. I will, or these articles are on SHTFplan.com. If you want to check them out in full. And I have probably, I don't know, 3 more videos to make today. Maybe 4. I'm not sure yet, but you'll be hearing from me again today, this morning yet. So I hope everyone has a good day, and remember, kill the state, live free.